Now I would like to invite Mr. Michael Chen to give us his view on the recent provincial budget and particularly the scope of the economic development, because he was worked so hard to promote Ontario attracting foreign investment.
Oh, thank you, Hon, and thank you, Stephen, for being here. I know this previously was my territory. Now I'm retired, so it's no longer my territory. The territory belongs to Juanita, so good luck as you move forward, Juanita. Thank you very much for being here. And Stephen basically expressed, our general view of the budget. But I like one thing in the budget. I like that license plate, a place to grow, right? That's what they're going to say. You're going to change the license plate to a place to grow. But you combine that budget with a place to grow, this is what I have. I can tell you what I have. It's really big. Ontario become a place to grow deficit. You can see, when he's campaigning for the government, he said that he's going to clear or retire the deficit in 1 year. Now, he is not going to do that. So he is going to have a license plate and tell the Ontarian, Ontario is a place to grow deficit. Now, also, he's cutting thousands of jobs, in particular, the education sector. So, Ontario is a place to grow unemployment, according to Doug Ford. You know that Doug Ford also relaxed a lot in terms of consumption of liquor. So it seems to me that Ontario is a good place to grow drunken drivers, and that's not good. So I can tell you, that's my kind of like looking at the whole thing is, I like that license plate, but I do not like that budget. When you combine the license plate with the budget, you end up with a place to grow deficit, a place to grow unemployment, a place to grow drunken drivers, and impaired driving. That's not good. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Michael is always so funny and bring a sort of a laughable fact to the audience. So I would like to invite Juanita as well to say a few words, particularly about the impact of this budget to your home riding.
Thank you so much, Han. And ni ha, ni ho, and just wanted to congratulate Stephen and wish him all the best in seeking the leadership bid. Ontario used to be the leader in education, the leader. People came here to study how we are doing things in schools, in classrooms, what strategies we are using to educate our kids. But today, it's very shameful to see that the cuts to the education system is going to take us years back. And just to the York Region District School Board alone, we're going to be losing so many teachers and so much millions in cuts and deficits. We really don't know how we are going to compensate for that. So education should always be on top of the agenda for any school boards, any households, and any communities. And a government that cuts education cannot be doing anything good for the citizens. And a lot of people here probably have kids in the school system, and our communities understand the importance of education. And this is such a big blow to our communities who place education at such height that our kids now are going to suffer in large classroom sizes with teachers not able to give that face-to-face time with kids. And it is a very sad day for Ontario yesterday. Like Michael was saying, the number plate was probably the only thing that looked good in that budget yesterday. Education and healthcare are backbones to a community such as ours. And for us to lose that says a whole lot about the government that doesn't really care about people. And we wanted to place, like Liberal Party, under so many different leaders in the past couple of decades, we have moved Ontario forward. And yesterday's budget clearly shows that this government doesn't care about any of those successes and plans we have made to make Ontarians' lives better. And I want to thank Stephen for having me here today in his leadership bid. And I wanted all the media here and people here to really think hard about what this budget really means to you and if this is what you voted for. Thank you.
Thank you, Juanita. That sums it up. Before Stephen takes any questions, or anyone of the three of us, if we can answer those, we'll answer those as well. I just want to say a few words. What really bothers me is the fact that this government is not taking higher education seriously. Three things they've done. I can point this out, and I hope that friends in the media ask these tough questions to the Ontario government, to Doug Ford. Right off the bat, they canceled the 3 campuses investment. So it's for those that are looking to invest their future, their career, even business around these campuses. It's a huge loss to them. Second, they asked the institution to lower the tuition by 10% without giving them support. Actually, in this budget we see, they're actually cutting the support for their operating budget. What does that mean? We can expect the tuitions for international students, it's going to go really, really high. And Ontario will lose competitive advantage in the world in attracting international students. We know Ontario is one of the most popular destination for international education because we need them to come and fuel our economy. Third, they cancel the free tuition, the new OSAP. Free tuition for many who otherwise will not have this chance for higher education. Now, the detail is that this program was cost neutral. We basically moved the tax credit for the students and front-ended them to fund this program. So it was cost neutral for the government. Now, the question is, if they cancel this program, are they going to restore those tax credit on the tuitions? So these are the 3 questions I hope you can take back to Ontario government. Without further ado, I would like to invite Stephen back on the stage again. And as the new candidate for the Ontario Liberal Party leadership, and if you have any questions on either the budget or the leadership, now is the time.
Thanks very much, Han, and we're all here and welcome. We're happy to answer questions. So again, yeah, please.
Mr. Dukad, your critiques regarding to the new budget of the government is so valid. I agree that regarding the education, transportation, and my question is to you. You are seeking for the leadership of the Liberal Party. How do you expect the Ontarians listen to your critics with the result of the last election? Do you think Liberal Party needs to examine and analyze the report card of the Liberal Party during the past years? And do you think the Liberal Party needs a real plan for the renovation of the party during the time we have until the next election?
Yeah, great. Thank you very much for the question. So a couple of things. One is, I just wanted to make sure it's completely clear. What I said last week is that I will be a candidate for the leadership of the Ontario Liberal Party once the Liberal Party officially starts that process. What I'm doing in the meantime is, as I tour across different parts of Ontario, and as I visit communities close to home and much further afield, is that I'm out there listening. In fact, I call it my Listen, Learn, Lead tour. And you'll notice that the very first word in the name that I've given to the tour is listen. And so to your point, look, the people of Ontario last June made a very clear decision about wanting to go in a different direction. And I think the first thing Liberals need to do is, and we are, respecting that decision. The voters have made their choice. They've sent us into the penalty box. They want us to, as you said, analyze and assess where we might have gone a little bit off the mark. And I respect that completely, and that is part of the healing process and part of the process that we are doing internally and have been since last June and will continue to need to do for sure, for sure. And there's a couple of things I would point out as well though. In all of my tours across Ontario, the message that I hear not only from Liberals but from others is that over 15 years, not just 4 years, over 15 years, Liberal governments here in this province delivered a lot of really good things that nobody wants to undo. So for example, today in Ontario, we don't burn coal anymore to produce electricity like we used to 16 years ago. We created full-day kindergarten so that our youngest students, our youngest boys and girls had the very best start in life, so that as Juanita said and Han said and Michael said, we built a world-class education system. Here in the GTHA, here in the Golden Horseshoe, we created the Green Belt, which residents know helps protect our local food supply, helps keep our air clean, and most importantly, our water clean as well. We invested untold billions of dollars to actually transform transportation and transit infrastructure. We built a subway line that runs up into York Region. Doug Ford's promised to do that, but Ontario Liberals have already done it at the Vaughan Metropolitan Centre and York University. We built dozens of new hospitals. We hired thousands of nurses and teachers and fundamentally restored Ontarians' confidence in our core public services. And at the same time, when we left office last June, Ontario had the best performing economy in Canada as compared to the United States and Western Europe, with the lowest unemployment rate in more than 20 years. Were we a perfect government? No. Do we respect the decision made by the voters last year? Yes. But the work that we need to do, the work that I'm already engaged in, as are my 3 colleagues and many other Liberals across the province, is to keep our sleeves rolled up, to be focused on the next 37 months, to be watching Doug Ford and his team and his friends really, really closely, to hold them to account for the bad decisions that they are making, including in yesterday's budget, and to be ready, respectfully, having listened to Ontarians, for an election that will begin in 37 months. And the onus is on us to make sure that we have a compelling plan that we put in front of the people of Ontario so that we can regain their trust.
Yes, so have you thought about why Liberal